10 things that I didn't know about Ghana before coming here. Stay tuned for these 10 things. You guys will be surprised also. Surprise also. All right, welcome back, guys, to my channel. And so, like the topic said, we're going to go straight into the 10 things that I didn't know before coming to Ghana. And I think I'm going to do a part two of this because I'm just learning. Like I said, I've been here for 6 months now. And so, and I've only been to a few portions of Ghana. And so every, different portion has different values and traditions and stuff. So in the area that I am in, which is Samania, in the eastern region of Ghana. And so these are the things that I've learned since coming here that you will get that big wow, And so number one, and I think this one is actually the whole of Ghana, um, electricity. In the West, we use 120 watts. I think what's 120 watts over here, it's 240 watts, meaning that if you want to come from America or the West and you want to bring your appliances and stuff from over here, from over there, you cannot directly plug them in to the power sockets in your house over here in Ghana. It will blow it because it's too high. So you have to purchase something that's called a step down that allows you to connect your appliances to the the sockets in your house and stuff like that. But if you don't do that, you will lose everything and have to buy it over again. So that's one thing to know when you come into Ghana. Know that if you're going to bring your Western appliances and stuff with you, the first thing you need to do is purchase a step down so that you wouldn't have to destroy your stuff and have to buy another, replace it. Two, um, using the uses of your left hand. Here in Ghana, it's an insult. Um, it's forbidden to use your left hand to touch anything. So if you're in the market, if you touch something with your left hand, they would look at you like you're crazy, you're a stupid thing because it's forbidden. You cannot touch things. You cannot eat with your left hand. You cannot hand someone something with your left hand. So if you have a drink, you out and you hand someone a drink with your left hand, it's a challenge. It's like you're challenging that person to whatever battle or whatever it is that they think that you're challenging them to do. So you got to be mindful of that. This hand is forbidden. You're not allowed to use your left hand. So they have this is a taboo thing where the left is bad, or you do all everything dirty with the left hand. The right hand is better. And so that's part two of two. The right hand. This hand is used to do, I guess, all the good with you could eat with your right hand, and stuff like that. But left hand is forbidden when it comes to eating or anything because like they say this is the hand that you use to clean your backside with. So, and I was like, that's not true. I'm right-handed. I use this to do everything, like basically everything. That's why you wash up. But no, over here, left hand. left hand for the waste and the evil, and right hand is the good. So you have an idea where they get that from. The left is bad and the right is good. All right. So number three, back in the West, at least where I come from, we use this term "hey." So if you see someone, you be like, "Hey," or or if you text and you like, "Hey," that's an insult. You call a person by their name. If you call someone "Hey," it's like how they explained to me, it's like you talking to something like a lesser person, like a animal, like a dog or something. And you're like, "Hey," or go that way, or you say something like that. So you can't say "hey" to people; they wouldn't respond to you if you don't call them by their name. So "hey" is taboo. You can't say that when you want to get someone attention. Um, or the crossing of the legs. If you're in the presence of a chief or a king, you're not allowed to cross your leg. It's forbidden. It's a challenge. It's also challenging the king or the chief, respectively. You're challenging them or whatever. So they would, if you do it, normally for me as a lady, when I sit, the first thing I do is just cross my leg to the ball, just lock the ankles. No, you cannot do that. You cannot put your foot one leg on top of the next. No, that's forbidden. That's a challenge, and it's a disrespect to the king or the chief. So they will correct you quickly with that. You can't. It's not allowed. Um, number five, number six. Sorry. Um, you would have like food testing. They test you with food. Like if you say you're a friend and they welcome you in and stuff like that, and they eating something, they would invite you to eat with them. And so they have this thing of if you're not their friend, or if you don't mean them any good or anything, that you would not dip your hand in the same pot or pan as them and eat with them. So they test your friendship like that. So friendship would be tested by eating out the same pan with them and stuff. So that you show them at that moment that you know we good. I'm not better than you. You're not better than me. Or I'm not here to harm you. Or I didn't come, with no bad intentions or anything like that. So that's one way that people, they show whether or not you all about them or not. You see, and also the test, say if you offer me food and then you don't want to eat the food yourself, then they would know that okay, something really wrong with the food. Why you don't want to eat the food also? So that's a good way to know, and too, if people really down for you, because that's just them. That's the culture, that you wouldn't eat with someone if you have malice against that person, or hatred, or your intentions are not good for the person. You wouldn't dip you know your hand in the same food that that person is dipping their hand in and also eating from. All right, so we have number seven, the pouring of libation. Now, this is something that I see some people do back home. Like, when you may be drinking and you just you pour some on the ground and say, "Oh, this is for my boy who died," or whatever. That is called libation. You pour libation for the spirits. And so I didn't know that they do it here for a lot of things. If you have a naming ceremony, um, you go to the stools of the chief or whoever it is and stuff like that. They are forefathers of their community or whatever. They will pour libation and they ask for blessings, for the year coming and everything. So yeah, and one of the reasons also too that they pour libation is to also test um, your friendship and your intentions. They would say that if you don't mean me well, you would not pour libation with me. You see, and if I pour libation with you, then I cannot cheat you, I cannot harm you. You see, because the ancestors or the God of the ancestors will punish you. And so they take their ancestors and pour a liberation to their ancestors very seriously. And that's one of the reasons why they say that a lot of people now run to Christianity and the church is because they don't have to give an account for um, doing you wrong, whatever. They just said, okay, I could just ask forgiveness from Jesus or whatever, and my sins is being forgiven. But when it comes down to the ancestral part of it, they would not pour libation because they know the power of pour libation and it works. And so they would not do that. So, yeah, so they really fear the ancestors more than they fear Christianity and any religion because they know there's no real consequences for doing something if you go to church and ask for forgiveness or whatever, but they know once you pour libation to the ancestors, there's consequences. So that's one of the reasons I didn't know that. Number 8, um, the length of time that someone um, stays above ground after passing away. So if someone died today, that person can be buried a year, 2 years, 8 months, whatever. And if it's a king, that can go for as long as I've witnessed since I've came here. Seen a king that's died from 2008, just got buried 2024 when I came here, and I think it was in May. It was in May, I think it was May or June, that the king just buried. They just buried it. And the reason for that is the reason for a regular person if they don't bury right away is because they give enough time for the families to come together. If someone is abroad and they want to come, they will extend leave for that time to give everybody enough time to be able to make it for the funeral. Now, if it's a king that died, the king would stay as king, even though he's unalive, he is still sitting in that seat until he's being replaced. So if they don't find somebody to replace him within a period of time, he will literally be still king, even though he's unalive. He's still in that seat until they replace him. And so the only person that would be advising the elders and everything else is the person who was next to the king. The king advisor would be still advising on behalf of the king while he is unalive until they come to some agreement to put somebody else in that seat. So it could be 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years that a tribe could go without a king, and unalive king is still ruling the seat even though he is not there. And what also, yeah, so, and then what I didn't know is where kings are buried. So this would be, I guess, number nine. Kings are buried um, in their houses. So they don't go into the graveyard or anything. They are buried in the king's house. So wherever the king house is, all the kings that sit on that stool in that area or that tribe buries in the house. And so the next king has to come and live in the house where the old king who died is in and stuff like that. So that is something that they do. I didn't know that before coming here, and so now I'm learning all of these things while here, and being out there and watching a lot of function and festival things happening and stuff like that. And another thing that I also learned since coming here is when a king dies, after the burial of the king, once they find a replacement and they bury him, a week after. Say today, if he's buried on a Saturday, the following Saturday they have this act that they do where the tribal warriors would go to the street. They would announce a day or two ahead of time to let everybody know that the king has been buried, and you know they replacing a new king and everything and like that. So it's like turning over the power. And so they would go, you have to close, everybody need to close stores. If you have animals and everything, you need to put them away. Nothing can be loose. You are men, women in the streets. All shops must be closed. Because when these warriors come out, what they would do is they would mark their face so you won't be able to identify who they are. Could be your son, your nephew, your uncle, your brother. You wouldn't know them. That time they mark their face up and they would come out into the streets. And if your shop is open, they would ramshackle your shop. They would tear up whatever. They meet animals on the street. They grab it, unalive it. Um, I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen it. And so yeah, in respect to the fallen king and the new king that's taking on the throne. So that's something they done here in this area. I've witnessed it myself, and so these are some of the things that I didn't know before coming to Ghana. And I think the last one, number 10, it's about land, the different types of land that is here in Ghana. Yes, number 10. There are more than two different types of land. So land, I didn't know that there were different types of land here in Ghana. The two common ones, I think it will be stool land and family land. And the stool land is that the king is head of all the land. And so if you want to purchase a piece of land, you have to go to the king to purchase that land. Um, so if anybody is selling you a land in a certain area and stuff like that, you would have to get approval from the king in order to be given that land. And so you have to check, the difference between the lands that you're dealing with and stuff to find out. And then you have family land. Family land would be um, the land is belong to the family, but there is a head of the family. So whoever the head of the family is, that person is responsible um, for all of the land. So they control the selling of that land. And so if you get the land from a family member and that person is not the head of that family that sold you that land, then you can find yourself in big problems because that is not the rightful person to sell you the land. So you would have to know for sure who owns the land or who family owns the land. Just don't go and buy land because it sounds cheap or whatever. Make sure the person have documents and you do due diligence to check and see that the land um, is the right family and the person that you're dealing with is the head of the family who is selling you the land. And so these are things that I have um, come across here in Ghana so far, and I will do a video more going into full details in how to go about purchasing land in Ghana and how I did mine and the end results, all the ins and outs of that. So if you guys want to hear about that, then you guys can drop a comment down and let me know, that you are interested in how they go about buying land and everything that we have to go through with the whole process of doing all of that. So these are the things that I have learned. Like I said, this is part one of it because I'm still learning. So most likely I'm gonna find some other things that I didn't know was, you know, um, that people normally do here in Ghana and stuff like that. And so your thing would be not to try and to, you know, what is the word I'm looking for? You don't want to be biased, or you don't want to. I don't even know what I'm trying to say right now. But yeah, you don't want to go around insulting people and making them feel bad about their culture. You come here, you try to learn, you know, how they live, and just get along. So nothing is really bad. It's just customs. It's just what they used to. We're not used to it, and so it's a learning process. And once you understand and respect everybody for who they are and what they do, then you're good. You're good. All right, guys. That's it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Guys, give it a like and a thumbs up for me, please. You guys could also share and subscribe also to my channel. Help me to grow so more people can see the videos and stuff. I appreciate you guys for doing that. Anyway, thank you so much. And guys, remember, you're not a stationary being. So move around, travel, enjoy life while you have a little bit of life in you. Live it to the fullest. Enjoy. Thank you. Bye.